Have you ever wondered why, despite having everything, some people still feel unfulfilled, while others with far less radiate joy and satisfaction? This isn't just a random occurrence. It's rooted deeply in our understanding, or often our misunderstanding, of what truly drives human happiness and connection. Today, we're going to uncover the ancient yet ever-relevant secrets of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us not just to survive, but to thrive in the chaos of modern life. If you're feeling skeptical, I encourage you to stay with us till the end. This video isn't just a discussion, it's a challenge to the very way you perceive the world and your place in it. We delve into why embracing a Stoic mindset isn't just about endurance. It's about transforming every moment of struggle into a stepping stone towards your personal growth. For those new here or those who've been with us but haven't yet subscribed, this is your invitation to join a community dedicated to personal growth and philosophical wisdom. Hit the subscribe button, like this video, and don't hesitate to share it with someone who could benefit from a new perspective on life. Are you ready to challenge your preconceptions and embrace the Stoic way? Let's get started. Why some men thrive in relationships and others don't? Why do some men thrive in relationships while others struggle, despite seemingly having similar qualities? It's not just about looks or wealth. It goes deeper, tapping into the core principles of human psychology and ancient wisdom. Have you ever noticed how some individuals seem to effortlessly attract and maintain meaningful relationships? These men often possess an unshakable calm and a confident aura that seems to draw others toward them naturally. This isn't by accident. It's by design, shaped by their adherence to a set of principles that may seem counterintuitive but are deeply effective. They embody qualities celebrated by Stoic philosophers, qualities like self-control, purpose, and wisdom. In Stoicism, one learns the importance of understanding what is within our control and what is not. Relationships, in many ways, are a perfect practice ground for this principle. High-value men, those who thrive in relationships, have mastered the art of focusing on their actions and reactions rather than trying to control the other person in the relationship. This creates a natural confidence and allure that is incredibly attractive. These men understand that the pursuit of a good life, as defined by Stoic philosophy, involves developing virtues and living in harmony with nature, which includes their own nature and the nature of human relationships. They approach relationships not as games to be won or competitions to dominate, but as opportunities to connect deeply, to offer value, and to grow personally. Moreover, the Stoic idea of self-sufficiency plays a crucial role. High-value men do not depend on their relationships to define their worth or happiness. They approach their interactions with a sense of completeness in themselves, which paradoxically makes them more attractive. They are like a sturdy tree in a field, not clinging or needy, but simply standing strong, offering shelter and beauty to those who choose to approach. Remember that the traits that lead some men to thrive in relationships are not just about external factors, but are deeply rooted in their philosophical stance toward life. It's about embodying the calm, rational, and purposeful approach to life that Stoicism teaches. This doesn't just make them better partners, but fundamentally more fulfilled and resilient individuals. The power of indifference. The idea that ignoring someone could actually increase your attractiveness might sound a bit strange, even counterproductive, but there's a deeper psychology behind this concept that many overlook, and it's one that has been subtly employed by high-value men for centuries. It's not about being rude or dismissive. Rather, it's about understanding the power of indifference and how selective attention can transform the way others perceive you. This isn't a new idea either. The principles of Stoicism emphasize the significance of where we choose to direct our focus and how this shapes our experiences and relationships. In today's world, everyone is constantly fighting for attention. With the explosion of social media, notifications, and endless distractions, people have become accustomed to receiving a constant stream of validation. It's practically expected. But when someone breaks away from this norm by not immediately reacting or providing excessive attention, it disrupts the pattern. Suddenly, that person becomes different, intriguing. This is where the power of indifference comes into play, creating a sense of scarcity that naturally makes you stand out. By not constantly showering someone with attention, you avoid the trap of neediness. Neediness signals to others that you place your value in their hands, making you appear dependent on their validation for your happiness. In contrast, when you demonstrate that your well-being and sense of self are not contingent upon someone else's approval, it conveys a sense of confidence and self-assuredness that is highly attractive. It's the difference between needing someone's attention and simply welcoming it when it comes your way. It's about having a strong enough sense of self that you can take or leave someone else's validation without it affecting your inner state. Now, it's important to clarify that indifference doesn't mean being dismissive or treating someone poorly. It's not about playing mind games or intentionally trying to manipulate someone's feelings. Instead, it's about having the awareness to recognize when you're overextending yourself or when you're too focused on seeking someone's approval. It's about pulling back to a place where you are balanced and centered, where your actions are guided by purpose rather than the desire for validation. Furthermore, when you embrace this approach, you're actually doing both yourself and the other person a favor. By not over-investing emotionally too soon, you give the relationship room to grow naturally. You create space for the other person to show their interest and meet you halfway. This mutual investment is key to building healthy, long-lasting connections. It echoes the Stoic practice of maintaining balance and not becoming too attached to things outside our control. This is not to say that you should never give attention or be affectionate. In fact, attention, when given selectively, becomes even more powerful and meaningful. If you're someone who is constantly giving, the value of your attention diminishes. It becomes expected rather than appreciated. But if you know when to give and when to hold back, your attention can become a rare and valuable gift that others seek out. The power of indifference isn't about detaching yourself completely from others. It's about being selective and intentional with your focus. It's about prioritizing your own growth, happiness, and well-being over seeking external validation. Approach with boldness. The idea of approaching life and relationships with boldness is a cornerstone of not just modern dating advice, but also ancient wisdom. In the realm of Stoicism, boldness is not just about being fearless. It's about taking deliberate action despite your fears. It's about recognizing that life, like relationships, demands a certain level of courage and decisiveness if we want to achieve anything meaningful. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus often spoke of the importance of facing challenges with courage and stepping into the unknown, because it's through these experiences that we truly grow and discover our potential. Approaching boldly doesn't mean rushing in without thought. It means understanding that hesitation and passivity can be more harmful than taking risks. When it comes to relationships, high-value men understand that taking action is the first step toward creating attraction. If you're always waiting for the perfect moment, the right words, or the ideal set of circumstances, you may find yourself stuck in a cycle of inaction. The truth is, those who succeed in relationships aren't necessarily the ones who are always the most charming, good-looking, or wealthy. They're often the ones who are willing to take a chance, put themselves out there, and seize opportunities when they arise. Consider this. When you take the bold step of approaching someone confidently, you're not just presenting yourself as someone with courage. You're also expressing a certain level of self-respect. You're showing that you value yourself enough to pursue what you desire without needing anyone's permission. This reflects the Stoic teaching of controlling what you can, your actions, while letting go of what you cannot control, such as the other person's reaction. You can't dictate whether someone will like you back, but you can choose to take that first step and introduce yourself with genuine interest. There's also something deeply compelling about a person who isn't afraid to take the initiative. It signals strength, assertiveness, and confidence, qualities that are universally admired and attractive. The act of boldly approaching a person sends a message that you are someone who goes after what they want in life. This is a mindset that extends beyond relationships, influencing other areas of life like career, personal growth, and friendships. Think of Alexander the Great, who is often referenced in Stoic teachings, not only for his military conquests, but for his audacity to take bold actions that changed the course of history. His approach wasn't reckless, it was calculated and courageous, demonstrating a willingness to step outside the comfort zone in pursuit of something greater. Boldness also involves embracing vulnerability. It's easy to stay within the safety of your comfort zone, but growth happens when you step outside of it. When you approach someone, there is always a risk of rejection, but as the Stoics would say, what happens to you isn't as important as how you respond to it. Rejection is only harmful if you allow it to define you. By approaching boldly and accepting the possibility of rejection, you build resilience. The more you practice this, the more you internalize the idea that your worth isn't dictated by others' opinions. This is a powerful shift in mindset, one that helps you remain grounded and confident, no matter the outcome. There's also a deeper psychological advantage to being bold. When you take the initiative, you set the tone for the interaction. Instead of waiting passively and reacting to what the other person does, you create the dynamic yourself. This doesn't mean you're controlling the other person. Rather, you're demonstrating leadership by taking responsibility for your actions and making the first move. High-value men understand that this proactive approach shows that they are comfortable taking the lead, a trait that is appealing in many aspects of life, not just in relationships. Boldness doesn't just apply to the first approach either. It's about how you continue to engage and interact. It's about expressing your intentions clearly and not shying away from making your feelings known. Many people hesitate to show interest for fear of coming on too strong or being perceived as needy. But the truth is, a confident and clear expression of interest can be far more attractive than playing it safe. It's a form of emotional honesty that the Stoics valued greatly. Acting in line with one's true nature without being swayed by fear or the opinions of others. Controlled attention. The Stoics were all about intentionality. Marcus Aurelius, for example, often wrote in Meditations about the importance of directing one's thoughts and actions with purpose. He understood that our attention shapes our reality and that we become what we consistently focus on. By practicing controlled attention, you're not just being selective, you're consciously deciding what influences you. In relationships, this means that your attention isn't given away freely. Rather, it's something that needs to be earned and appreciated. You're not ignoring others to manipulate them. You're simply choosing to direct your focus toward things that bring you growth, value, and joy. Think about it. When you're too quick to give someone all of your attention, especially early in a relationship, it can often come across as desperate or needy. It signals to the other person that you have nothing else going on in your life and that you're seeking validation through their approval. This kind of behavior can quickly make your attention seem less valuable because people naturally don't appreciate what is freely and excessively available. It's human nature to value things that are rare or require some effort to obtain. That's why controlled attention works as a powerful form of attraction. When you're intentional about where you focus your attention, it creates a sense of mystery and challenge, which naturally draws people toward you. This isn't to say that you should be cold or distant. Controlled attention doesn't mean neglecting the people you care about or being emotionally unavailable. Instead, it means being mindful of how much attention you give and when you give it. It's about creating a balanced dynamic where your presence is appreciated rather than taken for granted. This aligns with the Stoic idea of temperance, moderation in all things. Just as you wouldn't overindulge in food or drink, you shouldn't overindulge in giving away your attention. Moderation ensures that when you do choose to focus on someone, it has meaning and your presence carries weight. Another aspect of controlled attention is recognizing that it's not just about other people. It's also about how you manage your own mind. Many people don't realize how often they allow their attention to be hijacked by trivial matters. They get caught up in drama, gossip, or endless scrolling on social media, all of which drain their energy and provide no real value. High-value men are aware of this and choose to direct their attention toward things that help them grow, whether that's a meaningful relationship, a personal passion, or self-improvement. This selective focus not only makes them more attractive, but also more fulfilled. Controlled attention is also a way of setting boundaries, which is another key Stoic practice. Boundaries are not about keeping people out. They're about protecting what is most important to you. When you decide who or what deserves your attention, you're setting a boundary that says, "I value my time and energy, and I won't give it away lightly." This kind of self-respect is magnetic. It not only attracts people who value you, but also repels those who would try to take advantage of your time or emotions. Remember that controlled attention isn't about creating distance for the sake of it. It's about being deliberate with your focus. It's about recognizing that your attention is a form of currency, and like any valuable currency, it shouldn't be spent carelessly. High-value men understand this and treat their attention as an investment. They don't waste it on trivial pursuits or people who don't appreciate it. Instead, they allocate it where it will yield the highest returns, toward their goals, their passions, and the relationships that truly matter. Embrace the fearless mindset. The idea of a fearless mindset goes beyond just looking confident on the surface. It involves cultivating a deep-seated belief in your own worth, regardless of how others perceive you. Stoic philosopher Epictetus often taught that our self-perception should not be dependent on external circumstances or opinions. "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid," he said, encouraging people to let go of the need for constant approval. When you embody this mindset, you exude a calm, grounded confidence that attracts others because it's authentic, not performative. It's not about seeking validation from others, but about being secure in who you are. A fearless mindset is about facing the challenges that life throws your way with a sense of resilience. This doesn't mean that you won't experience setbacks or feel uncertain from time to time. It means that you won't let those feelings control your actions. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about keeping a steady mind in the face of adversity. In his Meditations, he reminded himself that challenges are inevitable, but they are also opportunities to demonstrate strength and to practice virtues like courage and self-discipline. 1. When you face your fears head-on, you're not only conquering them, you're also proving to yourself that you are capable of handling life's difficulties, and this builds unshakable confidence. 2. In relationships, this fearless mindset is incredibly attractive because it shows that you view yourself as an equal, not someone who needs to be granted attention or affection. When you interact with others from a place of confidence and calmness, it sets a different tone. Instead of coming across as needy or overly eager, you give off the impression that you have your own life, goals, and interests, things that bring you fulfillment outside of the relationship. This aligns with the Stoic principle of self-sufficiency, where your sense of happiness and purpose is not reliant on another person. You are complete on your own, and the relationship is simply an enhancement of an already meaningful life. Embracing a fearless mindset also means not being afraid of rejection or failure. These experiences are often the biggest fears people face in relationships, but the Stoics saw them as part of the natural order of things. 3. They taught that the only thing we can control is how we respond to events, not the events themselves. 4. So when it comes to putting yourself out there, whether it's asking someone out, expressing how you feel, or standing up for your needs, the Stoic approach is to act according to what you value, not to let the fear of a negative response hold you back. If rejection happens, you accept it with grace and view it as a learning experience, not as a reflection of your worth. There's also an aspect of vulnerability in the fearless mindset that is often overlooked. Being fearless doesn't mean being invulnerable. It means being open to whatever may come, knowing that you have the strength to endure it. The Stoics emphasized the importance of accepting reality as it is and not resisting it. 5. Epictetus encouraged practicing acceptance by saying, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happens the way it happens. Then you will be happy." 6. When you embrace this approach in relationships, you're not clinging to specific outcomes. Instead, you're open to whatever happens and trust that you can handle it. Another powerful aspect of a fearless mindset is being able to let go of things that don't serve you. This means releasing attachments to external validation, to outcomes, or even to relationships that are no longer healthy. The Stoics taught that clinging to things outside our control is a recipe for suffering. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." In the context of relationships, this means that your happiness is not dependent on whether a person stays in your life or not. You value your time, your peace, and your well-being enough to walk away when necessary, knowing that your worth doesn't diminish just because a particular situation didn't work out. Responding to bad behavior. One of the most important principles in Stoic philosophy is the idea of maintaining our moral character in every situation. It's easy to get caught up in petty arguments or lash out when someone disrespects us, but the Stoics would argue that this is letting the behavior of others control us. Marcus Aurelius, in his famous Meditations, advised, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." 7. In other words, responding to bad behavior with more bad behavior doesn't serve you or anyone else. It only drags you down to a lower level. Instead, we are called to rise above and stay true to our values, no matter how others choose to act. Responding to bad behavior with Stoic integrity doesn't mean being a doormat or passively accepting disrespect. 8. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's about setting firm boundaries while keeping your emotions in check. When someone treats you poorly, it's perfectly reasonable to communicate that their behavior is unacceptable. The key is to do it calmly and without letting your emotions cloud your judgment. For example, you might say, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way," or "I find this behavior disrespectful, and I'd like to discuss this when we can both approach it more calmly." This kind of response maintains your self-respect while still addressing the issue directly. Setting boundaries is a critical aspect of responding to bad behavior, and it aligns closely with the Stoic idea of knowing what is within your control. 9. You cannot control how others act, but you can control how you engage with them. When you set boundaries, you are not trying to change the other person. You are simply stating how you expect to be treated and deciding how you will respond if that expectation is not met. This approach doesn't just protect your own peace of mind, it also signals to others that you are someone who values yourself and will not tolerate being mistreated. There's also an element of silence in Stoic practice that can be powerful in dealing with bad behavior. The Stoics often spoke about the value of silence as a way to preserve one's composure and avoid unnecessary conflicts. 1. When someone tries to provoke you, a period of silence can act as a buffer, giving you time to think and ensuring that you do not say something in the heat of the moment that you may later regret. Silence can also communicate that you are not willing to engage in petty drama or be drawn into negative exchanges. It's a way of saying without words that you're above the pettiness and will not give it your energy. Another Stoic strategy for dealing with bad behavior is practicing empathy and understanding, not as a way to excuse the behavior, but as a means to maintain your own peace. When someone acts out, it's often a reflection of their own struggles, insecurities, or frustrations. Epictetus taught that we should always seek to understand rather than judge, because everyone is fighting their own battles. By choosing to see bad behavior through this lens, you not only diffuse the situation, but also avoid taking the behavior personally. This shift in perspective allows you to respond from a place of wisdom and compassion rather than anger or resentment. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of focusing on your own virtues, regardless of how others behave. 11. Seneca argued that living according to your principles is more important than seeking external approval or validation. When you encounter bad behavior, it's an opportunity to practice patience, humility, and self-control, virtues that the Stoics valued highly. Instead of seeing it as an attack on your ego, you can view it as a chance to strengthen your character. This mindset not only helps you remain calm in difficult situations, but also cultivates a sense of inner strength that others will naturally respect. The power of purpose. Living with a strong sense of purpose is not just about having goals. It's about having a clear direction that aligns with your values and deepest desires. In the realm of Stoicism, living with purpose is considered essential to a life well lived. The Stoics believed that true fulfillment doesn't come from chasing fleeting pleasures or external rewards, but from pursuing a life that is guided by virtue, reason, and intentionality. 12. It's about doing what is meaningful, not just what is easy or comfortable. A powerful sense of purpose also helps you prioritize your time and energy. When you know what you're working toward, it becomes easier to say no to distractions and yes to the things that truly matter. This kind of focus is something the Stoics highly valued. They emphasized the importance of self-discipline and the ability to stay on course, even when tempted by immediate gratification. Seneca, for example, warned against being a slave to pleasure and instead encouraged the pursuit of goals that would lead to lasting fulfillment. When you have a purpose, you're not swayed by every whim or external pressure. You're anchored to something deeper, and that gives you the strength to make sacrifices that others might shy away from. Moreover, purpose adds a layer of resilience to your character. When you have a why that drives you, you're more likely to persevere through setbacks and failures because you understand that these challenges are just part of the journey. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who began life as a slave, taught that our true strength lies in how we choose to respond to life's circumstances. He believed that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can control our purpose and the meaning we assign to our experiences. When you live with purpose, setbacks become opportunities to test your resolve, to refine your character, and to grow stronger. They are not roadblocks, but rather stepping stones that guide you toward your ultimate goal. Living with purpose also brings a sense of clarity to your relationships. It becomes easier to identify the kinds of people you want to surround yourself with and the kinds of relationships that are worth investing in. When your life is driven by meaningful goals, you naturally gravitate toward others who share similar values or who can support you on your journey. The Stoics advised associating with those who uplift you and share your pursuit of virtue. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who are likely to improve you." By living with purpose, you're not only more selective about who you allow into your life, but you also set a higher standard for the kinds of interactions and relationships you maintain. You attract people who resonate with your mission, and you filter out those who don't align with your path. The power of purpose is also reflected in the way you approach your work. When you have a clear sense of why you're doing what you're doing, your work becomes more than just a means to an end. It becomes a form of self-expression, a way to contribute to something greater than yourself. This approach resonates deeply with the Stoic ideal of finding meaning in one's duties. Whether it's a job, a creative pursuit, or a passion project, the work you do takes on a different quality when it's connected to a purpose that matters. You're not just performing tasks, you're fulfilling a mission. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to perform every action as though it were the last, emphasizing the idea that purposeful action is not just about achieving results, but about putting your full effort and intention into every moment. The beauty of living with purpose is that it simplifies decision-making. You don't have to wonder whether a certain choice is right or wrong because you measure your actions against your purpose. If a decision brings you closer to your goal, it's worth pursuing. If it leads you away from your purpose, it's not. This kind of clarity is liberating because it eliminates a lot of the doubt and hesitation that can cloud your mind. The Stoics valued this kind of decisiveness, advocating for a life of action guided by reason and virtue rather than indecision and fear. Purpose-driven living also inspires others. When people see someone who is committed to a meaningful path, it resonates on a deeper level. It encourages them to reflect on their own lives and consider whether they are truly pursuing what matters to them. Your dedication to living with purpose can serve as a powerful example, showing others that it's possible to live with intention and find fulfillment even in a chaotic world. This aligns with the Stoic principle of leading by example, embodying the virtues you seek to inspire in others. As Marcus Aurelius advised, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. The Stoic path to attraction. At the heart of this journey is the understanding that your worth is not determined by external factors, by the opinions of others, your social status, or the outcome of your relationships. It's grounded in the idea that your value is intrinsic, tied to your virtues and the life you live according to your principles. Epictetus famously said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." The Stoic path to attraction is about knowing yourself, cultivating your inner qualities, and letting your actions speak for themselves. It's not about trying to impress or prove anything to anyone. It's about embodying the virtues that make you truly attractive: wisdom, courage, self-discipline, and justice. When you focus on building these qualities, you create an unshakable foundation that others can sense. There is a calmness and confidence in someone who knows who they are and what they stand for. This doesn't mean you'll never face self-doubt or uncertainty. Everyone does. But the Stoic path encourages you to face those moments with resilience, embracing them as opportunities to grow stronger. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the inevitability of challenges and saw them not as obstacles, but as chances to practice virtue. The same applies to your approach to attraction. Instead of fearing rejection or craving approval, you see each interaction as an opportunity to act with integrity and courage, regardless of the outcome. The Stoics also remind us of the importance of self-sufficiency, which plays a crucial role in attraction. When you cultivate a life that is full and meaningful on its own, you aren't relying on others to fill a void or complete you. Your happiness isn't dependent on whether someone likes you back, returns your texts, or gives you validation. This kind of emotional independence is incredibly attractive because it signals that you are secure in yourself. As Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." By learning to be content with who you are and where you are in life, you project a sense of wholeness that others find compelling. Living with intention also means being selective about who and what you allow into your life. The Stoics advocated for associating with people who elevate your character and avoiding those who would lead you astray. When you set high standards for the relationships you cultivate, it communicates that you respect yourself and your time. This doesn't mean shutting people out or being overly critical. It's about surrounding yourself with those who share your values and support your growth. As you follow this path, you'll find that the quality of your connections deepens and the attraction you experience becomes more meaningful. You're no longer just looking for a connection, you're looking for the right connection, one that aligns with the life you are building. The Stoic path also teaches you to focus on what you can control, and this mindset is a game changer in attraction. So much of dating and relationships involves uncertainty, whether someone is interested, what they think of you, how things will unfold. But when you focus on what you can control, your actions, your responses, your mindset, you free yourself from the anxiety of trying to manage every outcome. You stop worrying about whether someone will like you and start focusing on being the best version of yourself. This shift in focus allows you to stay grounded and calm, which in turn makes you more appealing. You come across as steady and centered, the kind of person who can handle life's unpredictability with grace. Embracing the Stoic mindset also means accepting that not everyone will be attracted to you, and that's okay. The goal isn't to be universally liked, but to be authentic. When you live in accordance with your values, you naturally attract the right people and repel the wrong ones. The Stoics emphasize the importance of staying true to oneself and not compromising one's principles for the sake of others. If someone isn't interested in who you truly are, then they aren't the right fit, and that's not a reflection of your worth. This mindset frees you from the need to chase after others or change yourself to be liked. Instead, you live confidently and let the right people find their way into your life. Thank you for being a part of Live Virtue Stoic. If you found value in today's insights, don't miss the suggested video on your screen. It's the perfect next step on your Stoic journey. And remember, your growth doesn't end here, it's just beginning. Stay strong, stay wise, and keep striving for the best within you.